Mommy, I miss you. I know sometimes I still talk to you. You still see me in my dreams.
Dear mama, from your last born, damn, I really miss you. Tell Steph and John I was looking at her pictures. Took a stroll through her memories, prelates of my felonies. Wish I could start over and listen to what you was telling me. Xanax resembles balance pain drowned within the chalice. Become so jaded, my thoughts have become callous. Regretful of past actions, what draped the designer fabric. Survived car crash, lost aim, becomes taxi. God, I was so foolish, mama already knew this. Highly intelligent, mixed with a side of stupid. Nightmares, I can't subdue them, depressed to them, I'm fooling. Life's read its course and left me a stack of ruins. Lost without your guides, please visit me when you find us. Tell greatest ring through, we can kick it like old times. I died due to living and chasing my own vision. Chose faith over religion and woke with a new mission.
You gotta walk through pain. You see me walk through hell, watch me walk up out it. I see you, mommy. I love you. Hey.
Baptized in my affliction and free from false scriptures. I ain't missing the intention, just clarify the inscriptions. Haunted by my decisions, you are walking in my convictions. Both sides of the coin are reflections of how you live it. Hearts weighed on scales still separated from judgment. If he ever knew you is really the only subject. Houdini in death clutches will deviate to the public the test. A testimony defined by who's the toughest. Suicide contemplated, the rope popped and I made it. Purpose excavated, unconsciously fighting Hades. Marriage, it almost killed me, I popped pills to conceal it. The common side of death is what makes it so appealing. These are confessions of a dealer with a twist of Norman Mailer. Phoenix out the ashes, no longer scared of failure. Hid my pain inside of Cody till I got tired of the oldie from the grave. Mama, you saved me. I'm everything that you made me.
How you still save me, mommy? It hurt my soul to see you. Have to visit you and my brothers. Y'all know what it's like for your family reunion to be a whole grave site. 4 names on a plaque. I'm chasing ghosts, and I love all of them. Appreciate time while you still got it. Don't ever take time for granted. Easy.
Heat makers, crack music.
Phenomenon, Alexa got something like Ramadan. I'm do Allah, all praise, yeah, the prophet home. Peace be upon whoever the message falls upon. Greatest lies contain truths, nigga, that's how you rap us from. Who want war? Shape shift, Decepticon. Megatron form when I sound bomb, spit napalm. Whenever the tool is drawn, beam set, your mind's gone. Anything around on instant becomes a time bomb. A lot of cases blown as soon as the body gone. Never took the stand, be damned if I ever fall. This is real shit, 2-stepping with a 5-stick, nigga, head out. It goes your weird shit from the old homes before it's the old home. No disrespect, I ain't one of them clones though. Promise before it's over, I'ma get what we came for. Respect in the Range Rover, stack a couple of pesos. Said you need the keyboard, we don't believe you. The middleman, stop lying to people. Oversize seat to be real, it's not you. Real 100, now we don't believe you. Said you need the keyboard, we don't believe you. The middleman, stop lying to people. Oversize seat to be real, it's not you. Keep it 100, now we don't believe you.
I rock over hard bass. We talking about the ghetto, between a rock and a hard place. Trap house, we cook rock in a hard place. Bad guy with Desperado's guitar case. This is my environment. You claim to be street, you better reach the requirements. Long term, no such thing as retirement. 919 in it, no time limit. I told HILLZ we gotta stay on the hills. My bitch like red bottom, she gotta stay in them hills. Yeah, the way you shot him, it take longer to heal. Don't play with me, Duke, I'm not Sheshki or Hill. You know who the God is. And you know who your God is. Regardless, know the grind never stop. Because I watch too much time on the block. I'm God.
Said you moved the key, but we don't believe you.
Nah.
Used the middleman, stop lying to people.
Stop.
Office I see to be real, that's not you.
Real
Keep it
nigga.
100, nah, we don't believe you. Said you moved the key, but we don't believe you.
You don't
Used
believe
the middleman, stop lying to people.
Stop lying.
Office I see to be real, that's not you. Keep it 100, nah, we don't believe you. No matter where you are, the sun rising the east homes. I lure Akbar, drop gems like pea stones. On the state sunshine, the keystones. When niggas get bodied over Skittles and the pigs they bomb home. I eulogies, side poems. Facts fit the VVS clarity. These niggas is rhinestones. But safe for the both us, nigga. My mind's gone. Cool under pressure, no matter the time zone. No clips inside the tools. If you push me, your mind's gone. Loyalty above all. Slogan I stand on. Pressing download, unzipped and unfold. And slowly process the eve was untold. Cerebral unload. Food for thought for you assholes. Welcome to the dishes. I ain't the help home. To me, the sub-zero that's free with froze on. Bars is like ether, put a hole in the ozone. Yeah. You the key, bro, we don't believe you.
Nah.
Used the middleman, stop lying to people.
Stop.
Office I see to be real, that's not you.
Real
Keep it
nigga.
100, nah, we don't believe you. Said you moved the key, bro, we don't believe you.
You don't
Used the
believe you.
middleman, stop lying to people.
Stop lying.
Office I see to be real, that's not you. Keep it 100, nah, we don't believe you.
All right, everybody. We are here for another amazing episode of Let's Get Activated podcast. This is episode number 135. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, and Twitch. We're also on the Tattoo Shop Radio, Cuzzle FM, Culture Shock Radio, and Wapter Music FM. I'd like to introduce my special guest for tonight. We got a phenomenal, dope artist and entrepreneur in the building, HILLZ.
Hey,
Hey.
what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Feeling good. How about yourself?
Hey man, if we're not busy and we're not emotional, then I'm not feeling good. But we're busy and we're emotional, so I'm feeling great.
That's right. We had to, start it off with two just amazing, powerful, tracks that I know that both are, special to you. We have Angels, and then of course we have, We Don't Believe You. And I played them in that order on purpose because I know that Angels was kind of how the late great Fred the Godson kind of, tapped in with you. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. It was all right, so I was gonna go to New York for a meeting for something to do with marketing and go back home to Philly for a little while. And actually, Heatmakers was the kind of the catalyst for how it comes together, but even that was something that wasn't truly like completely understood. I believe in beautiful accidents. Things you just don't plan on and things happen. So I literally had my bags packed. I was on JetBlue ready to book my flight. My man calls me and I was supposed to go to Philly first, then New York. And he's like, hey man, we got a problem because you come to New York first. And I was like, all right, I'm coming first. So booked my flight, and Heatmakers and I had been having some dialogue on social media back and forth, and I was like, I got on the plane, and right before it took off, I was like, man, let me just inbox dude and see, I kind of felt like a meeting's possible, but it might take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I was just like, yo, man, I'll be in the city in a few hours. And his answer when I got landed in JFK, I said, cool, drop your bags at your hotel. I'll see you at 6. Here's an address. Gave me the address. When he opened the door, I looked over his shoulder. I could see Fred. So And I'm always gonna tell this part of the story because I always believe like it's always cool to learn, you know. Thought, especially if you are, you know, like a lot of people got this phrase "fake till you make it." Don't do that.
Right.
But yeah, don't do that. But
Yeah.
so I knew. Honestly, I probably knew about 5 legitimate songs, either that were Fred's or Fred was on. But I knew every time I saw a freestyle from Fred, he bodied it, you know. And I wasn't dead set on necessarily working as an artist with Heat Makers. I wanted to know if there was anything that I could do with any other ventures that I do in a way to incorporate him into it, because what he did for the Dipset sounds shaped a big part of my earlier years. So that in itself was going to be an honor, you know. And he had, throughout the conversation, he was like, you know, you said you used to rap, but you know, you recorded some stuff recently or whatever. He's like, well, let me hear something. And I said, well, if I'm gonna hear something, let you hear something, then I'm thinking about us doing something. And so, all right, so I said, Fred knocks on the door. He's like, you mind if I sit in on the session? I was like, it's not a session yet, you know, we just talking. He was like, no, that's cool, whatever. So he take a seat, and I played Angels, and a few seconds into Angels, Arsonist from Heat Makers, he stops it. He's like, asking, who made that? And I kind of like had a smirk on my face. So I've placed enough records to know if a producer asks you that question, it's usually yeah. So I mean, even how the Angels comes about as a story. I'll tap into that in a second, but because even that's one of these beautiful accidents. But so he plays it, and all right, cool. So the next song I play is a song I've been having to vote that I never put out that I did with Freeway. And Arsonist knew that I had worked with Freeway just in my conversations online. So Fred listens to that song and he's like, nah, you really got bars, but that first song that you played though, like that's a story, right? Like that's not real life. And I said, what you mean? He quotes back like about the first 4 to 6 bars. And he's like, I said, nah, it's real life. Like outside of my kids, everybody in my family's dead. And he was just like, bro, I was in a great mood. Like, and not in a bad way, but like you fucked my head up. Like I've never, you should be a monster. Like you shouldn't have this demeanor like you're cool or like you're okay. And he was like, bro, I know you didn't expect for me to be here, nothing like that, but I'm just gonna tell you what I charge people, and I want you to listen to me very carefully. I don't care what number you throw at me, whether it's 0 or 1,000,000. Pick any number, you throw it at me. I want to do a record with you. And so from there, I looked at Arsonist and was like, all right, it's going to be from a do 7 with Fred. I didn't come here planning to do a record with you, but you know, let's see what you run with. And we don't believe it was definitely in the top 3. It might have even been the second record because I know I was where I was sitting. As soon as I always wanted something that kind of had something that reminded me of like the Islamic prayer, morning prayer. And as soon as I heard it, like my eyes kind of like that's just like I wear my expressions on my face, but like they're very telling. You know, like if I'm happy, you're gonna see it. If I'm not happy, you're gonna see it. But as soon as I heard it, my eyes got big, and I started like nodding my head, and I looked at Fred, and Fred was like, "That's the one." I was like, "Yeah," and so like, all right, cool. So I know there was another session. I think Jim was coming in after me. So we wrap up whatever the conversation is, and I'm about to leave. And Fred's like, "Yo, you already got like at least the first verse." I said, "Yeah." He said, "What's the first verse?" So when I go through the first part, when I'm going through the part and I get to the Arabic part, Alhamdulillah, praise the Prophet. He just looked at me and was like, "What?" And I was like, he just started laughing. He was like, "So you were a history nut, you were, whatever." And I'm like, "Nah." I was like, "It's just I respect the religion, whatever." So anyhow, so I head out, and I guess Jim was running late because I was at dinner. I just get a text. He was like, from Heat Makers. I'm like, "Yo, what's your email?" I said, "Why?" I said, "Fred just finished his verse." So I stick my headphones in, I listen to it, and I've been around the game long enough to know like when somebody mail it in, I'm just gonna do something to do it, especially when it's like, oh, you might be moved by the story, but whatever. When I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, you gave me maximum effort, okay. So interestingly enough, another person, how the video comes about is I've been to the dudes from Twitter. That's Street Heat Films. There's a lot of stuff for Locks, Remy, Papoose, Jim, and so I'm there, and I just remember I hadn't done a record in probably like 6-7 years before that, and I went into scrolled into the messages, like, what was he? What was the number he threw at me? Like in my brain, I know you're not gonna say that number again, but I just want a reference point, right?
Right.
So I said, I took the message, I just replied to it so that it would be there, and he was like, that's not the number, but yeah, you man, I don't know. We know a lot of same people. I respect you. I'll do it for that number, and I was like, oh, all right. And now, like, I'm not from NY, so I don't even know where I'm going to shoot nothing or nothing like that. So I go to the next day to do my verses at the studio, and I was like, yo, I don't know, I don't have anywhere to shoot it. I don't have anything in mind. I was like, can I shoot it here? He was like, hell yeah, you can shoot it here. So I was like, all right, bet. So that day, that was like, this is like the third or fourth day that I'm in New York. Like, I literally got off plane, dropped off bags, went to studio. This falls in place. Next day, I'm putting the stuff in place. Third day, guys setting up for the shoot. I got a B-roll team in there doing stuff. I'm in the booth doing the hook for We Don't Believe You. While everything's going, me and Fred talking about freestyles, and I was like records, and I was like, yeah, man, I always want to do something over like Mob Deep Shook Ones. He's like, you ain't got nothing for Shook Ones. So I started rattling it off like the beginning of the verse. He's like, man, go get in the B room right now. So in the B room, the dude's recording what we're doing. Arsonist is mixing down the hook so that they can shoot. From an artist's point of view, that was probably the most like satisfying day. Like,
yeah,
got a lot going on right now. I just got off the plane. This is nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're working.
Yeah, but the Angels portion. Shout out to CP Keys, R. Chris. Basically, accident. My mother died in '09, and I always said if I ever heard the right thing, I would write something for her, And I was just scrolling through the Facebook, and I seen a girl singing a cappella in choir practice, and I got goosebumps. And I didn't know what I'm not thinking about myself. I'm just thinking like somebody should do something with this.
Right.
And so I sent it to my dude. I sent it to Art Chris initially, and Art Chris is a producer. I got him his first few placements, but he doesn't sample, right? So he was like, "No, you say you want me to make something because it's an old gospel song." I said, "Yeah, I know that." He said, "But I don't sample." I said, "But it's a gospel song. You play the bass, you play the drum. It's a gospel song. you play in the church band, sample it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm telling you that this is gonna work.
Yes.
Yeah, but I said, have I ever let you down? He was like, never. I said, all right, so just sample it. So he samples it. So I hear it. I said, and as soon as I hear it, I'm like, nah, that's the one for mommy. So it's all right, cool. So uh CPB Keys, or Keys, we call him, Chris. Kind of like I call him my little cousin or whatever. He knew my mother, and he plays the keys, right? So I'm like, nah, I need you to do something. I need you to touch this. And he hears it, and he worked with this wonderful, phenomenal human being, vocalist CC Tennille, and I wanted to work with her for years, but I and I mean for like I've known her probably since like 04, 05, 04-ish. But it was just one of those things like I feel like you don't mismanage things. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so I was like, it has to be perfect. And so I said, yo, Key, you think you can get CC to jump on that? And he was like he talked to her, he called him back. I guess he let her hear it. And all she said was, tell him to do his first verse first and let me hear it again. And then I went to the studio that night, recorded it, sent it to him. He text me. He's like, can you be at my house at 7? I was like, yeah, what's up? He's like, she said she'll be here. She's doing it. And I got there like 7:05. I guess she got there early, so I could hear when I walked in the door. And to me, she just got like that Fantasia feel, a tone to it. Like there's a painful tone that already sits in her voice. You know what I mean? And first of all, it took me 3 days to actually get the verse, to get through the verse recording. It took me 3 days to write it because I would have nervous breakdown. Like, to me, it's a song to purge your soul. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to not be okay. Like, I pretty much give you a very honest breakdown of what grief looks like. You know what I'm saying? And it's all right to not be all right, but you just need to know you're not all right so you can get all right. You know what I mean? So, just in little bits and pieces, like when I got to the top of the steps, I was crying again. And she hugged me and she was like, you said so much that I understand. And for Fred had only lost one family member. So that was what kind of blew him about me, was just like, hey, you really don't know nobody. Like, you don't have nobody. I'm like, no, that's why it's like, I think I just feel like your character is your currency, and people, my friends are my family. Like, and your DNA is not family. Nothing legal is family. It's like Fred became family literally like in a week. And I mean that because I know we're going to backtrack for a second, but just to confirm like how Fred was, I walked in the B room, he was laughing, looking at his phone. And I thought he was on social media, so I'm like, you laughing at? He looked at me and said, I'm in a group chat with my fat, and he just stopped. And when he stopped, he didn't have to say nothing else. I knew what kind of person he was at that moment. Like, you're cognizant or conscious of the fact that I don't have one, and you don't want me to feel bad that I'm missing my family while you're enjoying yours. So I stopped him and I was like, bro, don't you ever in your life not enjoy this time you got with your family. Like, I don't know if there's a good way to envy somebody, but I live vicariously through other people's families, man. If you got a beautiful bond with your family, bro, you really need to take advantage of that. So that's why, like in Angels, I explain, like, my family reunion is a grave site. Like, there's 5 names on the plaque and there's 1 empty spot left, and it's mine. You know what I mean? So, like, to look at it, it's a surreal experience. Like, so yeah. So you pick up from wherever you want to go, but that's really like that's the introduction of it.
Yeah, you can really, some of the best works come from, as they say, pain or just some, real life experiences that you've gone through. Like you convey it, very well within the song. And like you said, Miss Cece Tennille, she, definitely, she was just a perfect match for it, and just it was just beautifully done all the way. It really is, and it has a timeless feel to it. So, it can be played for years and years to come, and it's going to resonate with so many people because so many people are, have gone through or will go through, unfortunately, things that you have gone through.
Yeah, I
You know?
think that was honestly that was the beginning of the conversation in the studio. There was He Makers made a song on diplomatic immunity for Drew Santana called "Who Am I," and in the second verse he's talking to his mother, and I love that song so much. Like my mom passed, I think about 15 months after I had a involuntary vacation. And
Mm-hmm.
so, that's I always loved the beat anyway, but like the first time I listened to that song after my mother died, I cried. And that's something that I brought up to him because people like the biggest thing people reference normally is Dipset Anthem, like or stuff like that. And I was like, even though I love Dipset Anthem and I love that album, that Who Am I always sat with me because it's it's one of those things that has like a timeless feel to it, but it's the subject matter. You know what I mean? Like you can't get away from certain subject matter. Yes, I was incarcerated for 3 years trafficking. I definitely throw that all on top of. I put
Mm-hmm.
everything in my music, but
Yeah.
um, but yeah, and so that was really that's what prompted as like the conversation is shifting. So he makers basically, and he said this in other interviews too. Like to him, if music, if what you creating doesn't create an emotion, like it's just microwave music. Like that's I don't I don't believe in something that you do it for a wave. To me, it's an art form. It's therapy. Um, and Fred's take when he heard Angels Easy, and I put it out on my mother's birthday, but I knew that I wasn't gonna push it the way I wanted to because I knew certain pieces I just needed to line them up. Like this person, man, I'll do your video. I love this. It speaks so much to me, but I'll just do it for you. But then I need to line it up with somebody else's schedule that has the same effect too. So it's one of those things that I guess because of the subject matter that we have and at that moment, and then that's the first thing that comes up. And arson is funny thing is the dude that recorded me down here, he he was doing something with the files, and arsonist was like, I really like the mix, but like there's like two little things. He's like, send me the files and I'm gonna do it for you. And I was like, all right, cool. So I tell the dude, I'm like, yo, send me the files, blah blah blah. So arsonist is like looking at it, he's like, nah, it's still not here. So I go, so arsonist getting, he's the coolest asshole you'll ever meet. Like if, and I mean that and I love him to death. Like he's one of the dopest human beings too. But like he just got that. He really got a real yard man behavior or mannerisms. Like does he like me? But but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like nah, I fuck with you. Like oh okay, I'll just check it. But I'm not like so he got frustrated with the dude. So he's like man just send me this. He's like, you the producers, you tell them to send me the files. You go back in the booth. So he re-recorded it and he mixed it. And I was like, you want something? He was like, nah, man, this song's for your mother. I just wanted to fix one or two things. I was gonna leave it alone with the other guy, but fuck him and fuck that. This is you and your mother, and I'm just gonna fix it and do it myself. And I was like, and the irony was like later on, that same engineer was while I was in New York was like calling me like, yo, you want to buy block time? I'm like, do you know who records me for free? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
No one buy no Blocktown.
No.
But see, character is currency. You know what I mean? Like it's the
Yep.
vibe, the vibes of things you build and you do things. It's I don't know. It's like people. Anytime I go through something that's really, well, I look at somebody and be like, wow, like why? I don't know what would make you do that, but all right, whatever. Something beautiful just falls on my lap. You know what I mean? And it's not even anything that I really tried. My partner who lived up there. Funny thing, he and I had got quite a few checks together marketing. We'd
Hmm.
only ever seen each other on FaceTime once. He interviewed me in 2010.
Wow.
He picked me up from the airport and was taking me to the hotel. And I was like, yeah, by the way, we're going to drop the bags and we're going over here. And he's like, what's the address? He's like, man, that's in the Diamond District. All right, well, it's good to know. Buddy's still doing all right. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But he was like, when the fuck did you line this up? We was on the phone until you got on the plane. I was like, I sent it right before the wheels went up. He was like, I don't be seeing how people move like that. Like you just do certain things and it seems easy and natural. It's just you find a relationship, you cultivate it. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than a plant. Garden. You know what I mean? If you don't tend to that garden, don't matter how nice the house looks, it still looks shitty on the outside just because you don't do the maintenance, So
Right. Right. That's a fact. And I also love how you touched on, I mean, unfortunately, we had the loss of like blood family members, but you were able to establish, family with people, non-blood family, like you said, Fred, like, being like a brother to you and just really, caring, just about your feelings, on your family. So I really know that, you two had a very, very close bond from what I can tell.
man, so that studio, it's on the third floor. On the first floor, there's a jewelry store and a jewelry store, right? The top on the third floor, it's half. The floor is a jewel maker shop. The other half is the studio. I think my second day there, I meet the jeweler, and cool guy, whatever. He say hi. Boom. Next day, I'm there, and he's like, and I only talked to him for maybe like 5 minutes. The second day, I'm there. He's like, "What's your favorite colors?" And it was such a random question, and it's the tone didn't have the energy of like um what's the politically correct way? I'm like certain lifestyle choices, right? But I'm still scratching my head because it's such an odd. It's not that I've never asked another man that question, but usually it's like I've known you for more than a 5 minute
Right.
conversation prior, and I have a logic to that I'm going to tell you, but. So I'm just kind of like looking at him. I'm just like scanning other people's expressions that are around. Like, are they like, see, there you go, there you go. He trying to line them up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to beat him. I'm going to tread lightly. So I'm like, so I answer the question. So when I'm gonna start to shoot the video, right? I got there and I knock on the window and he sees me. Whatever, I salute him. I go upstairs and he comes up for something. And he was like, "What's all these cameras for?" And Fred's like, "Yo, he's shooting the video for the thing that you heard." And he's like, "Okay, okay, okay, okay." So I go downstairs, and while I'm out there, somebody sticks their head out and they're like, "Yo, Bobby, want to talk to you for a second." So I'm like, "All right." So I go inside, and I already know. I know what you do. You're a jeweler, and you make some dope watches. We're in the Diamond District, so he was like, he goes to go grab like this some stuff on the counter. I was like, "Well, Bobby, all due respect, I ain't come up here to spend Diamond District money on jewelry. I got jewelry. I'm okay." He said, "First of all, motherfucker, I didn't tell you I was gonna sell you shit." And I was like, "All right." And he pulls out this black and red watch that of his, and he was said, "Take your watch off, size it, take out 2 links and give it back to him for the video. That's yours." And I was like, and the thing is, everybody in the circle has one that operates out of that studio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go upstairs. No, I'm upstairs, and the guy comes out the thing and he gives it to me. And so Fred's like, oh, yo, you copped one? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, nah. And he was like, what do you mean? He was like, so what's your discount? What happened? I said, he gave it to me. He said, nah. He, on the arm, like he just gave it to you? I was like, he said, come here. He grabs me by my shirt. Yo, Oz. Yo, Hills, tell Oz how much. Yo, Oz, look at the nigga wrist. I was like, oh shit, you got one? So I'm like, now he's like, no, but Oz, ask him how much he paid for it. Now I'm starting to feel weird, right? Like,
Right.
do I need to go back downstairs and hand this back? Like, listen, man, no offense. He was like, so Fred's like, no, man, you gonna tell him? I was like, he just gave it to me. He was like, all right. And I didn't come to find out till later, like that's like the thing, like that's kind of like if you family that you got that. And you know, like there's people that go up there for months and years and whatever, and they still don't got one. And I didn't find out, like I found out maybe some months later, like my third day. No, yeah, my third day. I think my third day there. After I had left, when he asked me about the colors, they had a conversation, and he had asked. He was like, "I don't know, so it's just something about him. Like I just feel like he's a genuine person, and you guys say that you really like him, and he's genuine, and you know he didn't come in with no bullshit and whatever. So you know, whatever. He can do whatever he wants. By the time I left, I could get there before everybody else. The only other people that be there be the watchmakers. I go hit the button, they buzz me in. I got free reign to do whatever I want. How you do that? I'm like, I don't know, man. It's I don't say it's. I think it's a gift to feel comfortable enough to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of us walk around with masks. Like, I know how to, in any environment or room I'm in, I might change what page of the lexicon I use or what folder I pull from, but my core remains exactly who I am. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it doesn't mean that I just fire things off verbally, but it's, if I don't agree with you and you want my opinion, I'll tell you. I don't have to tell you in a fucked up way. You know what I mean? But I'll give it like you won't come back and be like, I thought you was nah, there's no contradictions. And sometimes we do it because we feel I don't want to make you uncomfortable. But how do you grow if there's not anything that's uncomfortable? That's not uncomfortable. Like lifting weights, it's not comfortable being sore after you lift weights. It's not comfortable shooting 200 jump shots, legs tired. You know what I mean? Like, no growth is comfortable.
Right.
And it's not what you say to people; it's how you say it. You know, like I say a lot of things when people look at me and be like, if I said that, I'd have got punched or slapped or something. And I'd be like, but probably forgot to provide a context for why you said what you said, so a person just thought you were being an asshole. If they understood what you were saying, maybe it would have come across differently. I don't know. But yeah, you know, it's that was a beautiful time. Fred's an amazing human being. Like that's a project. Like shout out to his brother Russ. Like when Fred died, I just came back. I was gonna shelf the project. I wasn't gonna do shit with it. I only, as far as I thought, was maybe I'll put the video up, maybe, because to me it was like, oh shit. I've been so close and worked with so many people that's from an artist point of view that I was like, you know, like I worked with Beanie Siegel, co-managing him right before he got locked up. And that was me as an artist thing. Like, well, I'll just put this on hold. I'll work with him, do what help him get where he's trying to go, and then basically I'll clear my own path and just walk right behind him. And then he gets locked up, and I'm like, see, there goes this bullshit. So then what the vision that Fred had, like, Fred was like, bro, I know you pay rent in Florida. You go back every 4 to 6 weeks. You going back, paying bills here, and nah, bro, I don't want nothing from this. I don't want to make a dime. He's like, this isn't the project we call Clash of the Titans. He was like, I don't want a dime. He's like, you put my name down on publishing, I don't want a percentage. He said, I just want this project to it's not your project featuring me. So on the project, we don't believe you being the first song. I have 2 verses. He has 1. Every other song, we each have 1 song. We each have 1 verse. And then there's 1 song that he has 2 verses and I have 1.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I got freestyles where he does my ad libs. You know what I mean? Like where he just would just walk in and like hear me do it and be like, yo, give me the headphones, here's the ad libs. And is for people, even people that kind of like are kind of around, that's not normal. You know what I mean? Like that's not something that people normally are really thinking about. Like, and so, you know, Fred just did a lot of things that just let it be known, like, you know, conversations we had, like he and I both were in childhood house fires, and like we really sat down, like had real grown personal conversations, like, oh shit, you know, and there's nothing I wouldn't have did for Fred, you know, and I'm excited to see what Arsonist does with the next installment of Contraband. I know they're working on a documentary. I fucking love the fact that they honored him and gave him, you know, gave him a street name, you know, and I think the thing that was the common denominator, at least from us, is like Fred had been in the shelter when he was little. I'd moved like 13 times by the time I was 11. You know what I mean? So Fred didn't experience loss, but he knew I had to do intervention with my brother. Somebody in his family that went through being an addict. You know, so like we had a lot of parallels that we could both draw from. But when he heard Angels, he was like, man, I haven't heard nothing like this since either Slippin' or Hey Mama from Ye. Like that's some shit saved somebody's life, you know. And,
Yeah.
so that's up to that.
Wow. It's a beautiful, you know, relationship you had. And even though he's gone, it's like I see you still maintaining the legacy. Like every photo, Fred's included, or, you know, almost every post, you know, there's nothing that rarely does not include him. And I know there's, you know, because you know, me, I do my research. I'm looking at your link tree. You have his foundation and everything. Do you kind of want to explain maybe the Fred the Godson Foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. And so even going into that, like that was fun. Like there were certain things I was trying. I've only met one of his brothers when I was up there, and so I would walk in and he would be talking to Russ or whatever. But like I would be like, yo, there was something Fred was trying to finish getting cleared up before he passed. And like I like message him or whatever, and then like I'm the type of person like, hey, listen, like when Fred was in the hospital, like I'm in the family Zoom prayer chat, like I'm meeting them in the like, who the fuck are you? I am the only non-relative, and they're like, you know, but I'm like at people's necks, like, listen, motherfucker, like Fred's trying to get this shit done. He's not here, so so his brothers like got on the line with me, and you know, I said first and foremost, just letting you know now, whatever happens, I'm putting all of Fred's publishing back and his percentages back, and they were like, huh? And then so you know, obviously, like that was I think that because of the subject matter I was trying to get their attention to, and then because I was like, we don't even, whether y'all know or whether y'all don't know, this doesn't even need to be a question to be asked. I'm just saying here. And so I ended up having another conversation with, with his children's mom, and even that was kind of funny because we were talking about something. She was like, "You don't got his name on no paperwork," and I was like, "Who don't?" She was like, "You," and I was like, "Check your email." She was like, "Oh shit." um, and yeah, like that was definitely that was. I think that's another thing that Fred and I really had. It was a desire to want to see other people win. So you go to the foundation, and they got book drives, bag drives, clothing drives for back to school. They're working on opening up, um, doing some programs where producers come in and help start to teach like the basics of production to kids in elementary, junior high, um, writing, all type, things that A, help keep kids off the street, you know what I mean? And B, helps give them a vision, like it's weird. Like in a lot of ways, I don't think that the streets are as bad as it was when me and Fred were kids, but in some ways it's worse. Like I think you could see more of an ugly side of life back then, but nobody was scared to end up on World Star back then. So if somebody
Right.
was little reckless with the mouth, and you'd be like, all right, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. But now people are like, I don't want to hear World Star. So problem is, what you pull out from that waistline, you can't have that in prison. So either way, whether it's World Star on the street or World Star incarcerated, either one way or another, who you are eventually comes out. You know what I mean? So, but that's something that Fred and I think both share is, you know, we wanted to see people win in general, period. And that was kind of like Spesh has a great relationship with Fred. I met Spesh. I know you got that too, but that's how the day I think like this is how I really understood. I think I came back to Florida. I just got the video back. I landed back in New York. Came to the studio. Showed Fred. The next day it was like 9 a.m. and I'm a night owl, and Fred a night owl too. So
Mm-hmm.
like there, I'd go to sleep at like 5, and I'd wake up at like 9:15, and he called me and like he woke me up. I'm like, what's up? He was like, I want you to come to my house. And I was like, when? He was like, as soon as you get out of the shower. And I was like, for what? He was like, now I want to talk to you about something. I was like, all right. So I go to his house, and he was like, yo, like, I figured whatever we did was gonna be straight and be good just because of what the vibe I got up off you. But the fact that I could see what your work ethic's like. We shooting a video, you trying to run, you doing freestyles, you came in ready to work. You ain't asked nobody for no camera crew, nothing. You got a camera crew, which he knew the same. He knew the camera people too. So he's like, them. You got B-roll footage people coming up here. You coming up here to do a. He's like, bro, it's just I've never seen an independent artist that I feel like has that same work ethic, and not just work ethic, but vision. Like you're asking questions about like how to improve other people's. How can you help facilitate another opportunity for somebody else? It's not like you're not waiting for an opportunity. You're not just trying to throw a bag at something. Like you're really trying to work. And he's like, I tried this one other time in life, but I'm gonna try it now. Like, you want to do a project together? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But and then like right after I said that, Spesh called him on FaceTime. And he was like, yo, Spesh, you remember that dude I was telling you about? He was like, yo, boom, Spesh, me, Hills, me, Spesh gonna be there tomorrow. And just to let you know now that we doing this, nigga, I know I see you almost every day, but now I'm gonna see you every day. So wherever I'm at, If I'm there, you there. If I'm not there, you need to be talking. Whatever. Boom. That's just how it went for 6 days a week, 12 to 16 hours a day. That's why I was around for 9 months. So if,
Wow.
shit, we might as well have been roommates. But
Yeah.
but it's yeah. So I think maybe like the second or third time Special was there. I was working on something that was playing, and I was like, "Yo, what you think about that?" And he was like, "Nah." He was like, "I think Special do an ill hook." So like on the project, there's a record with me, Special, and Fred. Um, and so the record that you heard was Special. Shout out to DJ Junebug here in Orlando, but he actually introduced Fred the Godson and Joel Ortiz to each other. And I ghosted him when I first came back because like people would call me right after Fred died, like my phone going crazy. I'm like,
Mhm.
whatever, man. Like when stuff was going on with Slaughterhouse, people inboxing me, hey, don't you know, man? I shut up, bro. Like whatever. So I didn't. I knew I'd heard that dude's name Junebug, and he had heard my name before. We just had never formally met, and
Mhm.
I felt bad after like probably like 3 4 months. Like I didn't respond to a text, didn't answer a phone, and finally called, and it was like I was like, listen, man, I'll be good to talk to you like in March. He waited until March 3rd. And he said, I gave you 2 extra days. It's time to get to work, motherfucker. That was the text, and I was like, you're right, but because I started to kind of go through that. Where I went through with my mom, it was kind of like that with Fred, like, because I see Fred as like a brother, you know what I mean? So it was, man, I'm just going to stick to consulting work and fuck this shit. This shit right here is difficult, and it's not even the game itself. The game to me is easy. It's work ethic and relationships, but when the relationship's not there, I don't care about the work. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if I write anything, it's therapeutic. It's not for the art of like how can I play with this word. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's more turning into like spoken word or poetry at that point. You know what I mean? But nah, Fred's brother Russ was like, he cursed me out. He was like, motherfucker, you're not doing that shit. My brother talking to me about you all the time. This is the shit he was talking about. No, you gonna put that out. You gonna. I was like, all right, bro, like chill. And nah, he did. He and I did. I think probably like the first 3 interviews. After we put the record out,
Mhm.
he did the interviews with me, and he was a part of those. Maybe even 4 interviews. But and when I ended up doing the other record with Specials because DJ Junebug was doing his project, and and I went through I went through Russ and was like, yo, and he was like, nah, he was like, I still talk to him, so he was like, I was like, all right, cool. And shout out to R. Chris again and this other producer Jula, that's who did the ROK beat with one Jukebox Ada album, which interesting time there is his mother had passed and his birthday is the day my mom died.
Wow.
So like there's all these little things that are always connecting pieces together, but case in that point was like this is, Special's in a good space right now, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
Special like trying to like charge people and have them, and then but like once we got on the phone, he was like, I couldn't. He was like, I'll be honest with you, the name. It wasn't the name. He was like, he just kept saying the person that Fred introduced you to, and he's like, now I'm talking to you. He's like, I could never. He's like, here, man. What you need me from? What is it you need from me? I'm like, all right, cool. I got it. You know what it is. What it is. Boom. And so, again, your character is your currency. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so that's that. But what else you got for me? I see I know that you really do be booked up because I know I listened to like a couple. I listened to a couple of things right after the first time we spoke, and then when you hit me up and I was asking you like certain questions, and I'm like, I went back, I'm like, damn, a lot of shit. So I want to give you your flowers too, because that's a lot, and I don't know, like I've always at least had a framework of what an interview was. Like obviously, I don't know, I don't never ask for a script, but like. Like, ain't no Wendy Williams over here, ain't no Ed Bustin, but I was like, for some reason, I feel like this is an okay moment to be like, okay, all right, I'm gonna see how this goes, but I'm more curious at this point now. No longer, I don't have any reservations. I'm just like, let me see how deep this goes. Okay, but yeah, so that's, I mean, there's at this point now, it's really whatever you want to ask. It's an open book. Like there's so many details with so many different things. I just want to make sure I give you whatever it is that you want. Anything you think that the base wants, whatever it is, I'm all for it.
Yeah, because I remember you reached out, like you said, months ago. We got, you booked, you locked in. I stayed tapped in. I didn't forget. So, when I reached out to you, I was like, it's your time. It's your time to get on here. And at first, you had sent me, a picture of everyone, and I said, let's make this about you. You know what I mean? Because I wanted it, and much respect to everybody, but I wanted you to have your moment, your flowers. It to be about about HILLZ, you know what I mean? And just getting your emotions out and just, conveying, your story. You know what I mean? And then when you were like questions, I'm like, it's nothing scripted, we don't script, we just have just a kind of a dope vibe. I mean, obviously there's a premise there, but it's just a vibe. It's just a comfortable vibe. Like, I hope you're feeling comfortable at this moment,
Oh, if I'm not comfortable, you get real short answers.
Got you.
You be like, how do you feel about this? Great. You be like, no, damn, I don't even get a great, nothing. No, you get great.
Right. Like, that's all you get. You get a great, So we're
Feeling
gonna,
okay?
yeah,
Alive.
right. Yeah, I'm alive, Yeah. No, we good. No, that's good. No, that's good that you're feeling good.
I grew up playing sports, and I played point guard a lot. And even though I liked scoring, I would only care. All I really ever care about, if we're playing an organized game, if I score 2-3 buckets in each half, I'm happy. What I want, and I'm just doing that just because I want you to know I can do it. But what I liked was, I loved defense. I loved the block of people's shots. I loved setting up people for giving other people, giving them assists. Like, to me, you can't. If somebody knows that you want them to win, they'll go that much harder for you.
Right.
Like you used to have to provoke me for me to be like, all right. And then like my teammates usually could see, like, because you might hear me, because I give you a compliment, you get a good bucket off, and I'm like, that's nice. Person like bumble something, I'm like, man, don't do that. And then start doing it again, hitting up, man, don't do that. All right. So it's like, this is gonna go bad for you in stages. Like, first I'm gonna throw your shot into the stands. Then I'm just not gonna let you touch the ball. Now I'm just gonna score on you like 3, 4, 5 times in a row. Now I'm gonna start whispering in your ear and get you 38 high. But I try to be humble. But then now at that point, if I say that, like, my teammates see me, and they be like, all right, I'm gonna give him an extra nice screen and run buddy, blindside pick. Like, it's like when for the Angels record, when I sent it to, as soon as our coach understood the assignment, like, he didn't ask me nothing else. He just said, let me know when you want to do the paperwork. you gave me my first opportunities. You believed in me when nobody else was believing in me. Like I remember I was at somebody said something to me like slick on Twitter, and I said something like I don't remember what I said, but it was smart. And like he didn't say nothing to me on social media. He called my phone like, "Yo, that dude's in Orlando, dude. Like, do I need to call my brother? Like, we'll pull up." And I'm like, "Nah, bro, you cool. Like, chill out, little bro. Like, you younger than me. Like, if I need something, I'll handle it." And he was like, "Nah, but I don't like the way he had said it." I'm like, "Don't worry about it."
Right.
You know, like, and it's just these things. It's those types of things. The same thing with the ROK record. You know, like everything is always the idea of. Yeah, it can be cool to benefit me, but I'd rather it tell a whole story. So, like, explaining why. Matter of fact, I think that's actually the picture that I sent you, that is in the background. But the idea is, like, if you even going through my social media, you'll see a lot of the pictures I take by myself. Normally, it's not completely of my face. It's usually part of my face hidden, the hat pulled down low,
Right.
glasses on.
Right.
It's not until when I'm around people now, because that's the team mindset, because we have a common goal. But if it's me by myself, like I gotta be the most social introvert that you're gonna meet. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm chit chatty, I'm talkative, but I'm not like I get mad if I go somewhere and somebody's like, "Yo, let me tell y'all his resume." You know, I don't know. I didn't walk in with it attached to my shirt like a lapel. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's okay, you know, like I'm just here. And if it's useful, then I bring it up. If it's not useful, then you see it even on my Facebook. Regular guy that just happens to do a few things extraordinarily well. You know, like I don't need as long as there's a respect. Like moments for when you just say, "Well, I want people to give you your flowers." Like something that Fred pointed out that they kind of changed the point of view in some regards to that is like people, not everybody, but a lot of people would get to a point where they're like, "Nah, Hills was straight," but then they just leave it there. And then I went to New York and I'm watching like I'm doing after I recorded my verse for the Shipman's freestyle, like he makes it stop mixing the hook momentarily and came in. It was like I turned it off because I swore to God, like your tone sounded like Prodigy, and I was like, where the fuck did somebody find a Prodigy verse from?
Right.
Which is funny because I met him and ended up driving him to his hotel when I was like 16 or 17.
Oh wow. Crazy.
Yeah, right. Like I've been in these spaces, right? So like other people are walking in and like, "Yo, who's that?" And Fred just would point to me and I'm like, "Yo, that's dope." And then it started for me to start to set in, and I'd listen to something Fred said, and I'd be like, it was a line Fred actually used, and I was like, "You left meat on the bone." And the reason, like, and he'd be like, "What you mean?" So I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna show you." So now I'll go use the same components that he used and to add something. He'd be like, "Motherfucker," and then it would just get to a point. Was like, by no means am I saying that I was ego, but I miss my sparring partner now. But like to be in that space and you're comfortable and people that you respect, that you admire, and they'll give you your roses, and you realize when you're around regular people, you realize how much. This is why I say when you yourself, comfortable being myself, right? And people are so uncomfortable being themselves that it makes you uncomfortable to see another person walk in their purpose or their gifts, instead of looking at like, how does my gift complement your gift? Because you can't take my life. You can't take the shit that people have done for me. They're not going to do for you. But if you show me that what you can do, I'm not going to look for a way to only help me if it involves you.
Right.
If I call you and say, "Yo, blah 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 blah. If there's either a check or a benefit attached to it that you can get a check from, you know what I mean? Like, and so people are so used to being used,
Yeah.
or they're so guilty of using so many people
Right.
that it bothers them to see somebody else get something. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of niggas that act like, what was that, Cinderella sisters? A lot of niggas act like Cinderella sisters. You know, like,
Yeah.
no. Fuck is your problem, man? Like, bitch, you do graphics. Shut the fuck up. I don't do graphics. I'm trying to help you out. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, or they're scared to, or act like they're scared to support. You know what I mean?
Right. But if you're,
You know?
I know a dude right now here in Orlando, I don't give two shits. You could put Roscos, Black Thought, Pharaoh Monch, Talib, fucking Royce 5'9" in the cipher. I'm still my nigga's not getting washed out that cipher. I put this nigga in the top 10 of walking fucking lyricists, period. And I tell, I'll name him occasionally, and somebody be like, oh, "Who the fuck is that?" Like, you don't know him. Like, but you just named like regular. You asked me my opinion. You didn't say industry. You didn't say sign. You said my personal top. My personal top is
Right.
This dude is that. He's that. So like, if I'm a fan, I don't need to. I didn't need Drink Chance to come out and tell me to give somebody their roses.
Right.
You know, like, I can say what helps that is loss. Like, the idea that one of my close friends, he died in a car accident. I used to feel like, and he played comic relief after my mother died. Like, he came and lived with me, and I was thinking about moving back to Atlanta, but like, he made me nervous. I'm like, man, I'm gonna take you up there, and chicks up there, man, they're beautiful monsters, man. If you don't got your head screwed on right, like, I could see it. Like, you're never gonna have rent. It's gonna take me, like, you're gonna get there and you're gonna fuck this up for like 6 months, and I'm just gonna have to be like, bro, like, this is how things work here. I need you to chill out. And so when he died, I was like, it's my fault because I didn't want to cover your rent for 6 months while you learn life lessons, you know. But he brought me out of a space like where I champion. He's the other person on the Facebook on my personal page. I told his mother I'll never change that picture. That picture's been that way since 2010. It's gonna stay that way, and it will never change. When I drop dead, Facebook gonna have to remove the picture. Nothing's ever gonna change. You know what I mean? So, like, but with him, it's I would do anything for him. You know what I mean? Like, there's that key. There's certain things you go to a point where you say, if you can do something for somebody, why wouldn't you do it? Understand you appreciate time. Like, the last time I saw my friend, I was telling him I didn't approve of something he was doing, and we didn't have a conversation again because he saw me like a big brother. You know what I mean? Like, he don't even want me to ask the question. Like, so, like, that always sat with me. So to me, if you have something to say, first, you should say whatever you need to say. Two, if it's that important for you to say it, you should say it. You should also take the approach of what's the most constructive way I can say this.
Right.
Instead of just acting like you're a child spraying aimlessly all over the place. Like, focus whatever your problem is. Because you should be the same way that you should be able to say whatever you need to say because you don't know how much time left you got. You should also not want to have to spend the time you have left repairing the shit that you said recklessly.
Right. It's true.
So I look for a solution, a resolution, solution, or a conclusion.
There you go. I like that. A resolution, a solution, or a conclusion. There you go. I like that. That's true. You know, life is so short. So I think we need that kind of with any interaction that we have, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Both my brothers died at 26. So I think I was like 13 when my second brother died. So I had my first daughter. To this day, I still tell people, and I tell her this too. I said, you were my um, you were my guardian angel because from 13 till I had her 2 months before I turned 18. You show somebody basically what that told me is I'm invincible. I got a timestamp.
Mm-hmm.
So it does. So not only am I invincible, but since I know I have a timestamp, what is it? I'm not afraid, and I want to experience everything.
Right.
This is a horrible, horrible recipe. Like there's no logic. This is YOLO before YOLO on top of. I don't care. If you're bigger than me. I don't care what it is. But when I found out I was having a kid, not having a family, the thought process of you might not be able to die till you're 26, but that doesn't mean you can't be confined.
Right.
And then that sat with me, that thought of like I don't want to have a kid now. I'm in a box, I'm in an institution. You know what I mean? Like one thing I want is a family that can't be taken from me. But now I really I fuck it up. You know what I mean? So my daughter, as soon I think by the time her mom was like 3 months, I was like, I'm just gonna behave. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna do stuff. I'm gonna do things in the most logical way, like or yeah, I'm no longer gonna like I used to scan a room and be like, which one of these niggas is mad at the light skinned nigga? Because I want to pop off. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And I'm like, no, like that's bad. Like
Right.
so, it became, I don't let me be, I guess, more deliberate, calculated, thought out, like start to assess risk versus reward of things, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, man, my oldest daughter, she saved my life, definitely. Because I'm positive. I probably hell I might have been the one kid to leave before 26. I was a jackass, But yeah, it was just so time. Every time is little. I spoke to somebody in the Fresh family like at 11 o'clock at night, the night before the day before he died. He was supposed to come home the next day.
Wow.
He got off if his breed if like he had beat like 105 fever like 3 or 4 times. He got off the machine. Like we was still getting oxygen, but like not the other machine. And like if his oxygen level would have improved just a little bit, like they were like he'd be home by the afternoon. But when I seen the number that called me, I just opened my mind. I knew the number. If it's him, it's gonna be his phone. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't his phone, so like I already knew. I knew what that was when I answered the phone. You know what I mean? Like, but it's no man. This time. Time is the only. It's the most precious resource. It's the only thing you can't replace. Like even as a parent, you can't replace a child, but you can't create another exact child, but you can have another child. I can't have another second. I can't pause time to get a second. I can't buy a second. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So it's like it's literally the most precious commodity or resource available, and we waste hours arguing about dumb shit. Don't get me wrong. If I got a grudge against you, probably it's your fault. But even that, like I almost got like this Buddhist mindset. Like I'll be 38 hot at you for like a hot second, and then like I won't even consciously be thinking about something, and it's like gotta just drop something, and I'll be like, oh shit, it'd be the whole way to like, yeah, and I put no thought into it. It just fell into my conscious mind as a complete thought of like, and it even comes structured as like you don't even have to go out of your way. You just you bet on this person to be this person, and then this is what's going to happen, and then this. And I be like, dang, I even got like a whole department dedicated this entirely to gripes and grudges, but I don't spend my time on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
If I do, you're stopping. I don't give a shit if I'm playing a video game. You're stopping me from having a moment that will otherwise be tranquil. But I would rather, like, I don't know, do anything. I watch a movie. I watch shows sometimes. I'll pick something just because I know what the era that it's made in because I want to hear what music they pick. See what I catch from the background and see like, all right, cool. Let me go back and go find that real quick because it'll give me something that I can go like listen to. And now I know, like I'll go to people and be like, I know who knows what to do the best with certain pieces. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and that's that point guard shit. Like, and I'll try to explain to people like, I'm in New York, the guy that I was doing business with, by the time I was there, maybe like the second or third day, I was like, bro, no. Once me and Fred agreed to do the project, I was like, I need you to start or finish your day every day with me there. It's like, why? I was like, because I don't know how long this is gonna last as far as the creation process. So if I have to go back, or and at the time he was working on the other Gorilla Glue project with Joel. So if our project's done, or half done, but he got to go on the road with Joel. I'm not. We ain't far enough in for you to factor in all my travel expenses, and I'm not about to pay to chase you around the country so I can open up for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
No, but I need. So that means if I go back home, I need you to be able to come up here and show face. And I was back here, I think, for one of the holidays or something, and he went up there, and he was like, I got there early, and he said, I'm here early. I said, hit the button. He was like, what you mean? I said, man, just hit the button on the wall. Here's the button. He's like, man, they just buzzed me in. I said, and this is why I made you come up there with me. Because you didn't even know that you had the access I just showed you that you had the access to.
Right.
But I needed you because you became my conduit. You became my emissary. You were the person I can be in a place that I can't be at. And he was like, damn. But I need you. If we do business deals together, the shit that we talking about that I talk about with them is shit that you and I were just talking about at your apartment. You know, all I did was repeat it. You know, and so like there's not enough time to go out of your way to do bad business. I can hate you as a human being. If somebody asks me what you do and you're good at it, I can think you're the worst piece of shit on earth, and I still be like, as a person, like, fuck him. But motherfucker's a great mason. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to not help somebody advance. Like, but shit, you might be bitter because you went through shit that I went through, but you didn't take the same approach I took to it. You know what I mean? If I don't know why you the way that you are. So, you know, I think that's just really the overall my theme of life in general is, you know, time. You know.
Definitely. Time is so valuable. Now, is this like, are these like a lot of ethics that you put in, like with the consulting? Because I see we have the HILLZ Music Consulting, right?
Yeah, I do consulting work, so that's kind of like the main thing that I was really doing. So that comes from like how we ended up getting into the placements. one of the other first placements I got early on was this guy named KP from the colleagues, which we ended up getting him his first placement with Mano when Mano was still on Atlantic. I believe it was Mano did a song called "Get 'Em Tiger." So I placed that record, and that was his first major placement. And see, once again, at one point, the guy Chris, I put them two together and was like, "You're better at the piano and you're better with drums, but y'all are both dope." And then they worked together for quite a few years, and I know they went on to do work with like Raheem Devon on a few projects. Like they both have really nice resumes, you know, and it just so now like people will look at me when I'll say something and they'll be like, "Nah," and I'll be like, "You show me where I've been wrong at, man." And then not don't show me where I've been wrong in a conversation. When I say this with this is gonna equal this, show me where I'm wrong at.
Right.
And it doesn't if I'm arrogant, or I won't even say it's not even arrogant, it's honest. Because until you bring me a receipt that says otherwise, it's not. But yeah, with clients, I have this thing too with a person. If you ask me about services, I'm gonna ask you like, what's your goal? So let me unpack like maybe like 3 to 5 things of what I see as a step, and I'm gonna find the easiest thing, and I'm gonna tell it to you for free. And if you come back to me anywhere in the next two weeks to 2 months, and you give me back the same thing, I want to hire you, and I'll ask you, did you do that? No. Okay. Well, because the number that I will do it for is going to be obnoxious because I'm going to charge you for me to do it for you. Right? So charging you $75 an hour or $200 for 3 sessions, it doesn't matter what I do that's kind of feasible. It's not worth it to me unless I can do it for you, because you're not going to do it. And then you're going to be not satisfied. Then you're going to want to say, slander me on social media. Now I got to get out of character. So it's okay to turn down money. You know what I'm saying? Because that principle, yes, it's peace. I can't get that time back because to me, my character is everything. That's the only thing of where I will turn into a manic person over something. Like somebody has said some, basically they called me a liar, but in a formal setting. I spent like 4.5 hours going through like 3 different emails, like in searches, like, now you got me fucked up. And because before I snap and fire off at you, I'm going to do my own due diligence just to make sure, like, I don't want to be the person to snap at you. You go dig in and come back and be like, oh yeah? I'm like, shit.
Right.
I was wrong and I'm wrong.
Right.
So no, like time, that's definitely a thing, is like, if we're gonna do it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. There's a slow, I like seeing instant results, but there's a slow and steady pace is much better than a forced mistake. Like, to quantify that in a statement, like an OG said something to me one time, and it like saddened me, but it like goes into this. And so it was like, sis, I basically just greeted me, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm keeping it moving. Or I'm in motion or something like that. He was like, don't ever say that again. And I was like, he's not drunk. It's too early in the day for that. But I don't like when somebody like just says something like it's like an order, you know what I mean? But I'm scanning my brain looking for the reference point, because I'm like, I feel like you might hit me with something like fucking Shaolin monk, African proverb, bro. That's profound. Like life changing.
Right.
And it was. He said, people that are drowning are emotional. And
Wow.
being that I had been at a public pool when I was little and seeing kids when they're going through like people that are scared of water, they don't fall in or get thrown in or whatever and then not move. They flailing, right? But you're not going nowhere. And then the thing about it was is that I remember my mother always telling me, if you get a cramp, float. And so I had never had a cramp in water, but it was like I heard it, but since it never applied to me, I never saw it. I didn't put a value to it, and I'm like that. Like she said that one time, and I have to be like around 5 years old. But this dude says this to me probably when I'm like 30.
Mm-hmm.
I never have no other reason to draw this memory or use this as a correlation, but I was, oh shit. And he was like, if there was no sharks in the ocean, your boat went down, right? Like you would be able to float until another boat came by and picked you up, or you would just follow the current until you ran into another landmass, right? And I was like, shit.
Wow.
If you don't know where you're going, stay still. Most of the mistakes we make because we decide we have to do something. No, you should have to have a direction, and then if you fail forward. You don't make a plan, the plan fail, just don't fall backwards by doing some dumb shit that puts some dirt on your name or fucks up your account. You know, even the failure should still move you closer to your goal, and then eventually, at some point, something happens when maybe you get a 2-for-1 or a 3-for-1. And it all comes in a nice little space. But yeah, that's time. Like it's time, effort. Like people look at me and be like, "We've been talking about XYZ. You ain't wrote shit down." I'm like, I already wrote it down. Where? I said because I wasn't in charge of the bullet points anyway. They were my bullet points. I remember all the bullet points.
Mm-hmm.
I told you the bullet. I gave you the bullet points, framed it out, built it out. I'm gonna remember the bullet points because they're my bullet points.
Right.
If you didn't understand how to remember the parts that you're gonna be responsible for in execution, what's up, sis?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, she's a perfect example of character. It's currency. I won't explain all of it, man, but by all means, somebody that she's blood related to had a moment of possible character assassination, and she was like, "Nah, nope, not him. Absolutely not. I don't believe you." Met me once, but we speak. Character is currency.
Yeah.
Oh man, absolutely. She's an amazing person. She's a dope hip hop head. Matter of fact, her and I had a brief conversation about something, and about like I'm at some point I've been screamed at for about 5 years about doing like a podcast or something. But like, if you ever have like some hip hop, like some like or some legend shit, like she knows a lot. Like she's from the BX back from like running around in the '80s. So
right.
you know what I'm saying? Like she knew him like she got stories for days. So that's a person I would definitely pick her brain. But yeah, she's a wonderful fucking human being. I love her. I love her to death too. But yeah, man, it's just doing things. You do things the right way, and I think her timing couldn't have been more on point with her checking on the remark, right?
Yeah, that's
right
crazy, right?
right in on the subject matter, but it has to be that way, you know, like and for me, like I work like you know, I do consultant work, I do some work with a university and some other things, you know. Anybody that they want to do stuff with production, learn how to engineer, shoot movies, marketing, whatever. But fully accredited, you hit my inbox, whatever. I'll point you in the right direction. But and I mean that, like, you know, got crazy alumni, everything from It works with everything from Ray Charles to the Transformers. You know, but like but again, like I'll talk to students, and like when I first got there, they'd be like, when you talk to certain people, like you talk to some people, you talk to them for like 15 minutes, and they fall right in line. It's like, yeah, like you're talking to somebody for 2 hours. What's the parameters?
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact I got the longest call in that space. I talked to a kid for 5 hours. Fucked up a date night I had and everything. 5 minutes before I was about to walk out the door, kid called. Kid's going from music production to wants to start a podcast. And so I'm like, why? And he starts explaining it to me. He's a Yankee fan. He's from the Bronx. And the kid's telling me that like he's been going to Yankee games since he was 5 months old. But he met 20 Yankees. He met Mariano Rivera twice. He met Derek Jeter like 3 times. I said,
Oh wow.
bro, do you understand if you had a smartphone and asked one question? If you had 30 seconds of film, just 30 seconds, if you got Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter, there's no team in any sport.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna tell you no. You can interview whoever the fuck you want to for life if you've got Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not sure somebody else is really good with the marketing. I don't think you heard what the fuck I just said. Did they meet 20 Yankees? Did they got Derek Jeter? No. So, bro, you can't fail. And so the problem was like, I literally told this kid my entire life to when I was 3, like, bro, I wish I had opportunity. I wish somebody would have explained to me how to tie pieces together.
Right.
Like going back to like 16, 17 and driving Prodigy I drove him to the hotel because the limo left him, and I knew the DJs, and the DJ was like, shit, I can't put everybody in my BMW. Can you help me? You know what I'm saying? No, I was 18. Because the next year, I promoted the show with 112. Like, I would start to learn all these people, meet all these people, but I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to take this piece, and weave it together. Where now, because I didn't look at it like it was basketball. I didn't
Right.
look at it like it was a sport. You know what I mean? Like, so now that I do, I wish somebody would have did that for me. You know what I mean? So that's just how I deal with things. So yeah, we do consultant work. Prior clients I already explained, like the colleagues, our Chris, now he's got the Cookup Academy, still doing with his thing now, and it's been beautiful to watch both of them grow. Working on, we got a movie shot by Vaughn Williams called Levels. It's in post production now.
Mm-hmm.
Great cast. That was beautiful. That was actually kind of funny. He made me my first beat when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
I was in New York City. He hits me. He's like, "Hey, I'm up here." I was like, "All right, cool. Come through." Same thing. Like I don't not like I don't need to block somebody's opportunity. You know what I mean? For anything. So
Right.
like, and I've always respected him and had nothing but the utmost respect for him, whatever. And he sends me something to look at, and I'm like, oh man, I thought he was gonna send me some records to listen to because he's a really great producer too. But I'm reading through something, and I was like, I'm in a meeting now, but I was like, I'm gonna finish reading this because like this is actually pretty good, whatever. So I read it, and I hit him back later, and I was like, man, it's pretty. He's like, actually, he's like, I feel really. I don't really ever, he's like me. We don't like admitting when we're wrong, but we will. But it
Mm-hmm.
seems but it was like just in his forethought, his brain, because I'm looking at one of the characters, and the character's biracial and hates their dad. And so I'm like, shit, I understand that. And, whatever. So then he's like, bro, why don't you read this character again? And I was like, oh, no, after I read it the second time, I was really like, damn, I think he wrote it for me. He's like, no, I didn't, it didn't hit. When you hit share, on my post looking for somebody to do sounds. That's when I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. You've been sitting in my face this whole time, and I respected your opinion. I know all this shit, but then it was like, I don't know. And I was like, man, I appreciate it. So, and the funny thing was, I had never told anybody like that was on a bucket list, which being in NY, like, I was starting to meet people. I'm like, yeah, I can see where I'm about to get. I'm gonna get my possible shot at that.
Right.
And then again, like I said, somebody recently had did something that kind of was like, huh? And then like 2 weeks later, here he comes, just check your email. Boom. Oh shit. Oh shit, we're gonna shoot. Oh shit, cool. It's always that way. And so we got that there. So that's in post production now. I would be thinking, I don't know, maybe I would say late. I would say winter or spring, probably for that, most likely.
Okay.
But it's for me. It was perfect because a lot of it had to do with the. It was very close to who I am as a person, like demeanor wise. There was, being I'm a principled person as a part of me that kind of goes against my principles, but it at the same time was like how and Fred was like, if you were a monster, like who would hold that against you? Like you'd be the person, like the Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like you go look at the Joker, he's an asshole. But then you realize, like when you see Joaquin Phoenix version of it, you're like, I understand why you became the Joker. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and so it was like, all right, Hills, if you instead of you going right, what happens if you go all the way left? And I was like, all right, all right, all right, I got you. So, and even so that was definitely happy, and I waited for a hot minute too. Like I was really nervous to do that, but I hope I did it the justice that other people said that that shot with me. Um, Shout out to Deuce, Charles Reed. They definitely play significant roles in there with me. And it was like I said, it's written very well. Kind of it reminded me a lot of like a Donald Goines novel. And so I definitely respected and appreciated that. Next is, I think I'm gonna try to sit back and do like a pre EP. So I want to say maybe work on like three to four records. And what I want to do is I want to incorporate students at the university that I work with industry people, and kind of be able to give kids the ability to put something on their resume while they're in school, and then allow them to kind of like be able to start working the angles a little bit sooner. You know what I'm saying? But and then at the same time too, like hell, I'm helping out even the independent hustle, because like when they get out of school, if they don't slide right into something, they can still say, they not gonna be able to say I only got 200 if I just got you to shoot a video with Jim Jones in it. You know what I'm saying? Like you like, I ain't budging off 5, whatever. So whether it's help you with your indie hustle or help you how you navigate the space, like it's important to be able to, like I said, I wish my cousin attended that university. My best friend, who's my other partner, now he actually sold him tickets to that 112 show that came out of me taking Prodigy to a thing. Like this is my beginning space, but I sold him tickets, and him and his wife are still together. That was their first Valentine's show. Wow. Shout out, sis. I love you, sis. Love you too. But they're my favorite people in the world. But yeah, so I want to kind of be able to incorporate stuff like that, and tie these pieces together. I think it makes sense to be able to get people to see what their goals look like. You know what I mean? Because everybody doesn't have a complete. People know what they want to do, but they can't see it. Like it plays like a dream. It doesn't play like a scenario. You know what I mean? Like even people that I'll talk to kids that want to do game development. I'll be like, you're supposed to create a game that's playable. And they'll be like, all right. I said, but if it's playable, why isn't it pitchable? But what do you mean? Well, if you work at a place and they do cover art, or you go to school at a place that do cover art, you go to a place that they do music, you need music. You go to a place where, like, the director of our art recording arts program did sound effects for Star Wars. Yeah, I want somebody from up out of there to go ahead and do work on my video game. Yes, I do. So by the time I'm done, like, yo, I can see the whole game. Good. Now I know that you listen. Like you see it now. Before you just like, I just want to do something.
Right.
But you can see the entirety of your own vision now. You know what I'm saying? And it's to go right along with everything else that pertains to time. Like one of my favorite things and something I try to live by this. It costs nothing to pay attention.
That's right.
And by paying attention, and it's to finding the details. Like if you go to a space and assuming everybody's of equal intelligence, y'all all gonna be very close in skill sets. So you need to pay attention to if you're staying within the box. Let me show you how to get up out the box. So now you head and shoulders ahead of everybody else. And I think the first time a student emailed me and was like, yo, can you come see me perform? I was like, yeah. And he was like, man, everything you told me to do is working. I'm like, that's the way it's supposed to. And that's how I think that's how we should all function. You know what I mean? Like, I see that one of the things that I kind of like when I was going back and listening, I told you while I was doing one thing, going through emails, I was going to sit and go through and listen to some some joints. And it comes across as like it's that a similar vibe for you, like it's almost like a dot connector, so, and that's that in of itself. It's two things. It's a skill set, but it's also like people that if you can remember what somebody else is good at, like you might be having a conversation in 6 months and the person says like 2-3 things and you're like, oh shit, I know exactly who you need to talk to. Hold on.
Yeah.
I've gotten somebody to be having a conversation with you, don't know you from a hole in the wall, but you say something. I call somebody, hand you the phone. I don't even have your number. I wanted your number, but you said something that made this other thing happen. I got to come back later, back to your social media to them and be like, hey man, let me get Shorty number. But that was the original angle, but that wasn't really what the purpose was. The purpose was to connect that dot.
Right.
And that's what I get from you. And I think that's people like that are like people that are good doctors and good teachers, you know what I mean? Like good nurses, like you either have that in you or you don't. It's hard to cultivate that because it's a genuine thing of wanting to see people win. And again, I know I saluted you earlier, but I salute you again. Like it's good to reciprocate energy, and you definitely put into your craft. I paid attention to how you framed questions and certain things. So you were on it. You were on it.
And I appreciate it. No, it's what it's about. I mean, the team, it's about, changing this narrative, making it positive, people supporting each other, like there's plenty of seats at the table, if people just will be genuine and, you can connect the dots, because like what you're saying, that's kind of what I do. Somebody reach out to, so-and-so, I'll be like, yeah, like up here you go. It's easy, very easy to do.
Do you like do you take things from like other spaces from like for me, like I would even go back to like playing sports. I would take something from one sport and start applying it to another sport, right? So like in soccer, you pass the ball between people's legs, that's normal. And I'd be playing point guard and it'd be a fast break and I'd be like at almost half court. So I don't want to throw the ball over the guy in front of me because I might lead my guy out of bounds.
Right.
So, but I can time my guy that's running his legs and I throw the ball between his legs and my coach would be like, fuck you doing? You gonna throw the ball away? And I'm like, the worst case scenario is a kick ball. The best case scenario is the most efficient way to get them the ball. Then with soccer, when I started playing basketball, to teach you, you grab a rebound at its highest point. But when you play goalie, they tell you to punch the ball out of bounds. But that means that you get another shot at it. So when I was playing goalie and I go for a rebound, they go, "What the fuck you doing?" I'm like, not giving him another shot at the goal. And then, but then I started. That became something that I would you do at work. Like you do what you do, even going back to like something little. Like you just observe in early jobs, and then you move. Like as you're getting older, you keep taking little bits and pieces of things, and next thing you know, like you realize, like as you are evolving this company of yours, like you realize that there were some things that I've been kind of, it's like they were already kind of sitting in the filing cabinet, and I just needed to see that space and, oh, there's my reference point right there. I remember, and then it's just do, 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 do. And that's if that's what you do, I think that's not everybody does that, you know, and I think that's a big thing of, again, it's those little details, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what makes things easier or more difficult, you know, but no, I definitely salute your grind. I can definitely tell that it's a genuine appreciation for the craft. Like you said, it's the era that we came out of. Like Tribe Called Quest didn't have beef with Public Enemy, and they didn't have beef with EPMD. They didn't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was still happy to get. Everybody was doing what they were going to do to stay with their own space, and it was okay. So not only did they not compete, maybe people feel the way they feel now because you got a lot of copycats. I don't know. If we're all copying each other, then we're all chasing the same thing. But the difference is, like, I was a fan of NWA. I was a fan of Tribe Called Quest. I was a fan of EPMD. I was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still appreciated all of them, but if you can only have one Jay-Z. You can only have one Nas. And if you all want to be that exact same thing, then I could see maybe why we have the issues that we have. But now everybody wants to, like, I want to be Fab, but with like Young Thug's numbers. Like, you know, I don't want people to say I'm whack, but I want to do stuff like this. Oh, like, you don't be who you are. And I think that's something that, you know, for me, I guess in the end as an artist, like, the idea is always be transparent. And this is, I don't believe in I don't believe like in embellishing things, you know, like I grew up in an era where we didn't have the internet and people still figured out how to pull your card.
Yep. Facts. Same. Yep.
You know, so if you have the internet now, what's the, like, it, people listening to my music right now in Norway. Like, it doesn't matter where you go, somebody, all I have to do is boom, either get your name or one person say, "Oh, I went to school with them." All right, boom, poof, and then there you go, and then it's a wrap. Like, it was just that thread. So for it's to be okay. Like, it's all right. You know, I think that's the point of reference. Like, and I addressed this in Angels, and I addressed it somewhere else. But like, I said Angels, I'm like, the rope popped and I made it. You know, like my mother's death, like, definitely put me in a box where I was like, this ain't it. You know, but because of the way I talk about my mother so frequently or in depth when I do speak about it, like, people would hit me on social media and be like, "Hey man, I just found out my mother got cancer. How'd you deal with it?" And so, like, that's the purpose. Like, but what if I want to be that dude who, like, no man, we don't cry, we don't show emotion, we don't do none of this. Like, I don't know if I definitely saved somebody's life, but I know I've had people call me before they call their own family to tell the rest of their DNA blood related family to tell me, like, "Hey, boom," and I tell them, walk them through it. Like, that's the purpose. Is, you know, it's not I want to be respected as being nice, but what I want to be respected as being more so is being able to do something that helps create a free narrative of it's all right to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I explained I was a whole jackass. I didn't live my entire life in an abandoned building. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's you don't have to embellish shit. Just appreciate the craft for what it is. Be 100% honest and transparent. Like, that's the shit that makes people love you.
Yeah.
That's what makes people defend you outside of your own, outside, like behind your back. Because if they know that if somebody says I lied, a person that's been around me 2 times would be like, you would have said that motherfucker did anything. Lie wasn't it? You know what I mean? And so, but a person has to see the real you to
Yeah.
defend the real you. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And that's I think that's what, and people from our demographic, our era, that's the benefit of Griselda. Like, I got happy as hell when I first started hearing Griselda. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what's this? Oh shit. This is, like, this is new music
Mhm.
and it's not, but it had all that same vibe and that feel to it. But I shout out to Benny. I met him 2 days before I went. Right before I went to New York, it was cool. I met Benny. I went co-man as being Siegel, but I had lost his contact information. Hadn't seen him in years, and he comes here. I have no idea why they booked him, where they booked him, but I just go. I also know that he got this reputation for not showing up, so I'm also looking at our space and going.
Oh
I
man.
also know him, and I can see him pulling up and being like, "No," and then they're leaving.
Right.
And the person I was with was like starting to question me, and I was like, "Don't you question me, whatever." And it's funny. So that person goes to the bathroom. He walks in. He sees me. He screams my name, like pulls me in. And she comes out the bathroom, and she's like, "Damn, like he's pushed everybody else off to the side." I'm like, see, again, I haven't seen this dude in over 5-6 years. This dude just like, fuck everybody. Hold on, man. You need to get back right. Boom. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
These are these things. But yeah, no, I think we still want that same thing. So it's okay. Like,
Right.
people that are 35 plus and you make music, you don't need to sound like you're trying to make money. You're trying to do music for a 21-year-old audience. You make the music that you know that's going. And then for people that are younger that grew up with good parents that let them know what tribe is, and I was happy as hell. My son was 13 and was like, I really like this. What's the name of this? I was like, Today's a Good Day by Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna download that. I was like, all right, bet. Like,
Mhm.
when you do your job, then yeah, they're gonna still like what they like, but
Yeah.
they'll gravitate towards it. But there are people that we raised our kids a certain way, so they'll appreciate a Griselda. You know what I mean? They'll appreciate a
Mhm.
Splash. They'll appreciate that. So it's there really is a market for everybody, and so there's no reason to not do something. And the question is did you want it for the bag in the first place? Because if you stopped something, why'd you stop?
Right.
Because if you loved it, that's like being in a relationship, and as soon as a person they have an age limit, guy or girl, that's it. You hit 40, I don't want you. I need something else. Then you never loved me. You know what I'm saying? And hell, you could have told me that from jump. I'm one of those people. I'd be like, well, I can figure out a way that we can work this out amicably while we make this go through. You know what I'm saying? We can start on good terms, end on good terms. We just needed to communicate. But
Right.
no, it's if you don't. When I hear people say I stopped doing something, either you stopped doing it because somebody else killed your dream, or you were doing it because you want a bag,
Right. Right.
and you'll get a bag if you do it long enough, because if you do it for the right reasons, the same reasons when things get to be in the darkest hour for me, and I'll be like, man, and then and that's the universe or God just, hey
Mm-hmm.
man, you know, I might not feel like God visits me like Clash of the Titans and Zeus and Perseus, like he be checking in like I can't hang out with you all the time, but I need to make sure you straight, you know. So no man, like I always encourage people that I don't really care what age you are, unless you try to tell me like you're 60, you want to be an NFL player, but no,
Right.
that might not be it. But if this is art, do it, bro. Like, what's stopping you? Never
Mm-hmm.
at
That's
all, by
right.
any means. Nadine, I see you, like, and I appreciate you making sure that your son knows my music well.
Yep. That's
Honest.
right.
Um,
Yep.
I see. No, that I'm telling you, do some old school hip hop shit. Y'all got Nadine, follow her or something, whatever. However y'all do what y'all do, but definitely, she's one. The first time I had a conversation with her, I was like, oh shit. I felt like I went down like she took me into Eric like while I was still a kid, like you know what I'm saying? Like she would have been
Right.
like that's big sis, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like you was outside with salt and pepper. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I wasn't allowed outside, but she was outside. So, you know, it's no, she's definitely I plan. She's a person I always enjoy kind of picking her brains, but you know, I see, but like I'm still in a plug somebody else mode. It's something I can't get out of. Like it's
Right.
what it is. But I think that's just my main thing. I think so. You know, doing everything with I think the idea was like us where I spun off of with the project and trying to do a couple of records, do the stuff for the kids. That should probably be coming. If I can kind of put some pieces together, I may try to line that up with where the somewhere around where the movie's going to be at. Um, uh,
Mm-hmm.
man, kinda, but um, but yeah, try to line it up somewhere around the release of the movie. And then probably keep the Clash of the Titans project to put that somewhere close to the documentary for Fred. And since I got him on some freestyles apart from the project, um, then still do my solo project because the idea originally for Fred was we do Clash of the Titans and do my project and like after like start do my project and then like three to 6 months later we start doing another Clash of the Titans. So I'm thinking I'll try to keep that format and just as long as I get through next year with at least this project, like this little pre EP, then our projects. If I can just do that next year plus the movie and then help a couple of people do some things that they want to do, then I feel like I did my job. Um, you know, with Fred's project to me it's very it's imperative like that it's everything I've been doing and why it's taking longer. So I want to make sure that it's just something I can't. If I'm going to do it now and I dedicated myself to saying I was going to do it now, then it has to be done correctly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not. I was happy that We Don't Believe You was one of his top, I think like top three, top four songs like for that year. Um, from his numbers, like you know, and I still get people from like Arab countries that where people are asking me when they hear it that are Muslim and like go into like asking things. So it's always um that's important. You know, I would I want I feel like the world deserves to know Fred and Fred deserves to be known by the world. Like when he asked me about doing the project and I got in an Uber and was going back to the house and I took my bright dumb ass onto YouTube and like just
Mm-hmm.
did Fred featuring and my eyes got big. I didn't write for like 2, 3 days. I was like, oh shit, I fucked up. But no, that man deserved. That man was respected by too many people, like, and to not be given the roses he deserves, and like, it's kind of crazy that you see before he passed. I can now see clips where Fat Joe said something about him, or somebody else says something about him, but like it wasn't until he passed where it was like this universal thing. But like I would watch so many people come in and out the studio, and like it didn't matter what their status was, like, and this is a mark of greatness, like people that 20 tax brackets are higher, and they still speaking to this man with humility, like, because at the end of the day, we still got to go do some work in this booth, and I don't want you to tear my head off. So that the respect factor is clear. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you watching people do that, and you think to yourself, like, why doesn't everybody else? And it's, there's a business thing about now. Maybe cool, you don't want to do certain things certain way, but then there's a way to build it out the next way, And I just want I want anything that I do that's attached to his name, and even stuff that I do independently, just because it's not something you can't detach yourself from it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't jump out the window and do no dumb shit, because then that's still a reflection of, like, I don't even know why Fred fucked his name forever. You know what I mean? Like, it has to maintain a certain level of integrity. So, it's about keeping his name alive, and I feel like, I talk to his brother all the time. And the family's beautiful, you know what I mean? So it's just a matter of, like, I tell his brother, my mother and Fred are like the only two people that I can hear him talk. Like, I can do something, it's almost like I just hear like a little whisper, and I'll be like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of fucks me up a little bit too, because him and his brother laugh exactly the same. So he'll start laughing about, shut up, Fred. My bad.
Yeah.
But no, so that's the goal, really, is just to make sure that if, like I said, just trying to do maybe like worry about two things. If I get a third thing in, then I'll slide in my solo project. The solo project's already like halfway done anyway, and I got 3 of the songs done, and then I got, which even for that, I got a record from Heatmakers on there for my solo project. I got the record with Freeway that I'm gonna break out the vault for my solo project. So, it's the things I keep in the vault. Other people look at and be like, man, you was supposed to been. It's timing, that's the thing. So, I want people to appreciate it, but I want to give them something worth appreciating.
Definitely. That makes a lot of sense. And so so with all these great things that you have coming up, like, tell the people, and for the radio listeners too, kind of spell it out for them, like, where can people, stay tapped into you?
All right. So on IG, it's HILLZ music, spelled regular, MUSIC. Twitter is HILLZ, HILLZ music, MUSIC MGMT. Facebook, HILLZ Music 407. If you see a picture with Fat Joe, a yellow, light skinned motherfucker, and Fred the Godson, it's me. I'm the unknown person in the picture. So, but if you see a whole lot of Fred content, it's me. But shout out to TBM, Fat Boy Izzo, Russ, I love you. Once you see IG, link trees there. On my Twitter, link trees there. I'm still trying to straighten some things out with Spotify, because there was somebody else named HILLZ, and somebody threw a song name. I was like, they ain't got nothing to do with me. So but if you put in HILLZ featuring Fred or HILLZ featuring 38 Special. Oh, shout out to again DJ Junebug's Ada album. That song with Specials on there, but I think the beautiful thing about that was Junebug dedicated that album to his mother and released it on his mother's birthday when she passed. So there's this mother thing, this tie in, and so check out the Ada album from DJ Junebug. Another artist that Fred that grew up with Fred. He was kind of like the me before me in a certain way. Block. He's on that project. Fat Boy Izzo, Fred's brothers on there. We're actually on another song called Go Time. And yeah, man, we're gonna probably do something else with that project too and expand and do some other stuff. But that's the main thing. Levels, the movie, have that out next year. Documentary, line up Clash of the Titans with that. Do the little pre-EP. If I got time, I'll finish mine, put that out, and then I'll start working on what me and Fred have for the next project.
Wow. Well, that sounds, all wonderful, and, we know we got to, before we close it out, we got to, give an encore, listen of, Angels one more time, but before we do that, I want to thank you, for blessing the platform and just providing some great gems and, conversation.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. I thank you for the opportunity. It was funny, like when you sent the message, I'm like, I swear she said a month. It was 5 days. Yeah, I got it. All right, I got it. Yeah. I was like, maybe she bumped it up. No problem. I got it. So I appreciate you for, as soon as I saw it, I was like, the only question was, I thought I had a little bit more lead time, but I knew for a fact, I know I had told you I knew you told me a date, and I said, bet. And so, that to me, for both sides, for both people's of our word at that point, I didn't, even what I had in my mind, I wasn't like, let's see if I didn't try to wiggle nothing. I was like, oh, cool, I got it. I'll make it move because I know I said yes. So I thank you for that, obviously, and I thank you for continuously, giving other talented people platforms as well. And, in any way, anything that you do, you kind of know what I do a little bit. We've seen the EPK, we've had a conversation now. So if there's anything that you do that you feel like there's some way, something I can do to help you with something, please talk. It's always doors always open.
Definitely, and definitely vice versa, definitely for sure. It's definitely was great, definitely will stay connected. The support doesn't just stop, from being on the platform. So, just to let you know that.
Most definitely. I greatly appreciate that for sure. Thank you.
No, you're more than welcome. And, I got to, salute everybody, for tapping in the Let's Get Activated podcast, watching the live. If you missed the live, watch the replay and share it. And definitely follow my guy here at HILLZ Music. You definitely will not regret it. And, we're going to close it out with an encore listen of Angels. Oh. All right. So let's go.
Yo.
Mommy, I miss you. I know sometimes I still talk to you. You still see me in my dreams.
Dear mama, from your last one, damn, I really miss you. Tell Steph and John I was looking at her pictures. Took a stroll through her memories, prelates of my felonies. Wish I could start over and listen to what you was telling me. Xanax resembles balance pain drowned within the chalice. Become so jaded, my thoughts will become callous. Regretful of past actions, what draped in designer fabric. Survived car crash, lost aim, becomes taxi. I was so foolish, mama already knew this. Highly intelligent, mixed with a side of stupid. Nightmares I can't subdue them, depressed to them, I'm fooling. Life's read its course and left me a stack of ruins. Lost without your guides, please visit me when you find us. Tell ready to swing through, we can kick it like old times. I died due to living and chasing my own vision. Chose faith over religion and woke with a new mission.
You gotta walk through pain. You see me walk through hell, watch me walk up out it. I see you, mommy. I love you. Hey.
Baptized in my affliction and free from false scriptures. I ain't missing the intention, just clarify the inscriptions. Haunted by my decisions, we're walking in my convictions. Both sides of the coin are reflections of how you live it. Hearts weighed on scales still separated from judgment. If he ever knew you is really the only subject. Houdini in death clutches will deviate to the public the test. A testimony defined by who's the toughest. Suicide contemplated, the rope popped and I made it. Purpose excavated, unconsciously fighting Hades. Marriage had almost killed me, I popped pills to conceal it. The common side of death is what makes it so appealing. These are confessions of a dealer with a twist of Norman Mailer. Phoenix out the ashes, no longer scared of failure. Hid my pain inside of Cody till I got tired of the old me from the grave. Mama, you saved me. I'm everything that you made me.
How you still save me, mommy? It hurt my soul to see you. Have to visit you and my brothers. Y'all know what it's like for your family reunion to be a whole grave site. 4 names on a plaque. I'm chasing ghosts, and I love all of them. Appreciate time while you still got it. Don't ever take time for granted. Easy.